Welcome to Benton Football 2024. I'm Jim Gardner, joined by head coach Brad Harris. And after a long summer, Coach, the season is here. I know you're excited.
Right, definitely. We're excited to get the season rolling. You know, we've been in the summer of workouts and 7-on-7 team camp, but it's exciting to get August started, you know, with Maroon and Gray getting fired up, and then next week Little Rock Christian. And it's just an exciting time. Anytime you get to that parent meeting stage, you know, I always start knowing it's football season and get excited about that, no matter how long I've been doing it. So, but we've had a really productive summer and excited about this season.
Coming off a conference championship last year and a semifinal appearance, what's sort of been the emphasis heading into this year?
Finish, you know, and that's what we've talked to them about in the weight room and in all the off-season workouts, summer workouts. Is hey, we got there the last 2 years, last 2 minutes of a game, we've lost 2 semifinal games, so we got to finish and got to find a way to get to the finals to give us a chance to win a state championship. And our senior class has bought into that a lot. A lot of our guys have been 2-year starters for us or played a lot in those 2 games, and it's been tough on them losing 2 years in a row. You know, it hurts them as much as it hurts some of us as coaches, you know, and or some of the players, you know. But anyway, they're excited about the upcoming season. They've been pushing real well. For the most part, our senior class has been doing well.
I know it was a good year in the weight room again, another state championship back in April.
We did. You know, that's something we take pride in, Jim. You know that we won 6 in a row now, and if you throw a COVID year in, there'd be 7 years that we feel like we would have won one. And, you know, a lot of people around the state, they don't participate in that. They don't take a lot of that serious. But I think if you got an opportunity to compete, it's an opportunity, you know, to get better. The competition, a lot of these guys maybe don't play spring sports, and it's an opportunity for them to go be competitive in the spring. And, you know, our guys have always done a great job in the weight room. We talk about building Benton tough, being built Benton tough and everything. And, you know, the weight room, we've done that again this year. We've got kids that have gotten a lot stronger, put some weight on, and they're going to see the difference this year in the football field, and that's what our goal is.
And another good summer of 7-on-7.
Yeah, great summer again. We wished we could have won a couple of those tournaments. Went to SAU and went undefeated and won a tournament. Got beat in the semifinals here at our place. Went to Arkansas, got beat in the semifinals at their 7-on-7. And then down at Malvern, lost 1 game. I think we lost 3 games all summer, you know, so that's a really productive 7-on-7 season. And we had a couple of good team camps. OBU team camp was real rewarding to us, you know, early in the year. Then we went to Pulaski Robinson a couple times. Got a lot of reps for some of our young guys and guys that we need to see, that fringe guys help us with the varsity nights, you know. But fun year again of 7-on-7. You know, we always enjoy that, competing, and guys have done a really good job with it.
So 3 losses in 7-on-7, and really when you look, you got Drew Davis back, 42 touchdowns, 2 interceptions as a sophomore quarterback, and 5 receivers back. That's a deep skill spot for your team this year.
Yeah, definitely. That's the strength of our team, the meat of it, you know, that we have coming back from last year. We have Drew coming back. Last year, sophomore year, had a phenomenal year with over 3,000 passing, 42 touchdowns. But the great thing is he's got all of his weapons back that he was throwing to. We've got Maddox Davis and Elias Payne back for their senior year. 2 guys that have played a lot of minutes for us, man, over the last 2 years, have been involved in those 2 semifinal losses, and it kind of sticks on them a little bit. So we're hoping that's a reminder to them for, you know, the last 2 years, and they really grinded out for us their senior year. Then we got 2 juniors in Carson Collett and Will Carter that are really talented outside receivers, you know, that are going to push, and got a lot of valuable minutes last year as sophomores. And Carson has really taken his game to the next step. I think he may be the most improved over the offseason as far as his speed development and everything. He's our fastest player. Now Maddox has gotten faster too. He's had a heck of an offseason. Maddox has. Maddox really bought into the offseason this year. Then Elias has been playing baseball, golf, all that stuff. But Elias is Elias. We know we're going to get big play nights out of him, you know. And then we've got Bronson Koulis, a senior. That's our tight end H-back but can flex out, and he's dominant on the edge blocking-wise, can catch the football down the field, make things happen. So we got 5 guys back that played the bulk of our minutes last year. And then we're excited about Bryson Griffiths coming up as a sophomore. You know, and last year had a big year as a 9th grader, and he's really mixing in. So we feel really good about 6 guys right now, and that's going to be a really good combo for us of whoever's on the field, giving guys some breaks, I think, where we maybe haven't had that experience in the past, but we really like that group.
Yeah, 6 receivers. It's going to be tough for high school defenders to defend that many weapons. Of course, Drew has the intelligence to find the open guy. Running back's a different story. You had Braylon Russell, who's getting headlines in his freshman fall at the U of A. Chris Bernard, who's left as well. So talk about how we look at running back this year.
Well, that is going to be that's kind of a void, from last year's team, and I don't know if you call it a weakness or not, but an unknown, I guess you could say. We got 3 guys right now that are really working in that position. Everybody knows Quentin Godley, who's been with the team and everything, going to be a senior. Last year played some minutes behind Chris and Braylon. We got him back. He's kind of between the tackles type guy. Don't have that speed that you'd like to have, but he runs the ball tough. And then we've got sophomore TJ Williams that came up last year, played a lot of receiver last year. We moved him to running back. He's back at a position we feel like's home for him. He's more of a running back style guy, smaller guy, slasher, gets on the edge well, catches the ball extremely well. So we like that. And then we've got Luther Tucker, who moved in here from Little Rock Southwest, and he's going to be a senior, and he's a very similar style as TJ. So we got 2 slashers, 2 guys that catch the ball well. Then we got Q in there that kind of runs the ball between tackles and everything. So we like those 3 guys, that they're competing for that spot. Tonight's a big night for them for Maroon and Gray. We're still trying to sift out who's going to start, and right now they all have an or between their name. We don't know. But, we've also used Maddox Davis at running back. And Maddox, that puts 5 receivers on the field all the time that we like, So you're going to see some different packages with us this year, being very versatile and everything. But we like the 3 guys. We feel like we can get the production yardage-wise, touchdown-wise that we got with Braylon and Chris, but it's just going to be a different style. We're not going to have that big guy that can just go mash in the face. And, last year we could miss a blocking assignment. Braylon's still going to get back to the line of scrimmage, possibly 2-3 yards. We don't have that this year. So we'll be a little bit of a different style offense.
So what you do have up front is 3 returning starters, and Isaiah Gibson, Daniel Jordan, Parker Glaze, 3. In Parker and Isaiah's case, started as sophomores in that Greenwood game. Daniel was an anchor last year, so talk about that line.
Well, anytime you can bring 3 back, that, Jim, up front, that's a plus for us. That's hard to rebuild up front, and having Parker back was going to be a 3-year starter. Then Isaiah, like you said, he started playing as a sophomore at the end of the year, basically a 2-year starter, going to be a 3-year starter for us. And then we moved Daniel Jordan over last year as a defensive lineman to offensive line and immediately became a starter for us. So we got 3 guys with a lot of playing time, under their belts, a lot of Friday night varsity experience. So we like that. And then the other 2 spots that we've got some young guys. Actually, Jackson Kendricks being a senior, but we got some other young guys that we really like. But Jackson Kendricks has really stepped up as a senior. We've got him playing right tackle. We've actually moved Parker Glaze inside to guard. We like that big body in the middle with Daniel Jordan at the other guard, so we like to be able to get some movement in the middle of the field, middle of the lineup and everything. And then also at center, we're working Garrett Pilkington right now. That's kind of the combo that seems to be our starting 5. But we also got 2 sophomores that we like, and Brody James and then Madison Hurd. We like those 2 guys playing guard, tackle. They can move around. They're versatile. Their bodies were ready for it, big-bodied kids, strong kids in the weight room. Brody's about 280 right now, and Hurd's about 290, so we can put some beef up there. We like those 2 guys. Then we got 2 juniors also in Eli Cunningham and Seth Ochoa, So we've got a combo for some guys that we feel like we can mix and match some different lineups with the 3 guys coming back. And then also another sophomore, Jaron Ginther. Like Jaron gets it mentally, man. He plays center. Snaps are on point and everything. Just got to keep bringing him along physically. Don't know if he's ready to handle a Friday night rep yet, but he's going to be a really good one for us in the future.
Yeah. So you talk a lot about experienced guys and use the term veteran, even though they're high school kids that have a lot of time under their belt, but then a lot of sophomore names too. Right. And that from a group that went undefeated and won the conference last year, defeated Bryant to win that title. I know you got to be excited about that 10th grade group.
Yeah, we always like to mix in those sophomores. We don't want to lean on them too much, but like to mix them in, get them involved as a sophomore. Like I mentioned with TJ. TJ, we don't want him to be the guy, but we want him to be one of the guys. We think TJ is going to be really special for us, and we think Bryson Griffin's going to be special, but it's good for them to learn under those older guys and get in the mix, and then next year they're going to be ready to take off, And then you talk about Brody James, Madison Hurd, Jaron Ginther, 3 sophomores that are going to be really good offensive linemen for us in the future. They need to get their feet wet this year on Friday nights. That way next year they can start taking over for some of these seniors. But really excited about those guys that we just talked about as sophomores.
The Panther pipeline is flowing really strong right now. You look at the defensive line, again, veteran experience coming back with Seals and Mattia.
Right. Last year we had Sills and Mattia and Peyton McNeely, who's at Harding right now. It's kind of our 3 rotation between the 2 defensive end spots. So we got 2 guys back there, man. Really like what those 2 guys have done in the offseason. Owen's coming off of a torn ACL. And a lot of guys, when they get torn ACL or a major surgery or something, they just kind of relax. Owen attacked the weight room upper body-wise. He's as strong as he's ever been. He's heavier than he's ever been, which is good. He's about 245-ish. He needed to gain some weight to be a little bit better force on the edge, Really like where he's at coming back from his knee surgery and strength and everything. And then Ty Mattia, man, he's just a workhorse. He won the state championship in wrestling in his weight class. I think at 215, he's bulked up to about 230 since wrestling's been over with. Really like what he's doing. He's just got such a motor, chases the football really well, hard to block, strong kid. So we got 2 really good senior defensive ends that we like. And then a guy that's come out of nowhere for us is Dominique Roy, a kid that's played JV for us for the last 2 years. He's hit a little bit of a growth spurt. He's close to 6'4", 250 right now. And, didn't really know how he was going to handle the field, but, man, he's been a pleasant surprise for us. Really excited about his growth, his development. It gives us that 3rd defensive lineman, defensive end that we like to rotate in there. So we got 3 seniors there that we're going to lean on heavily. And then at our nose guard position, we've got Mason Lassiter, who was with us last year. Got a few minutes last year, and he's stepped up really big. He's bulked up. He's about 250 now. He's only about 5'10", but he's kind of short, squatty, strong guy in the middle. So we really like what he's doing. And then we got a guy coming back to the program since junior high, Jay Alford. And Jay's a kid that we tried to keep out, but he was just like, I don't know if I want to play. Wished he would have played for the last 3 years. Jay would be phenomenal right now. He's about 230 pounds, 6'2"-ish. Motor, runs all the time. Really like what Jay's doing. He's going to remind you of Ian Alvarez, just a lighter version of him, but he's more active than Ian was in the middle, a little bit more athletic. So we got all of those guys I'm talking about are all seniors. So we're senior heavy on that defensive line right now. A lot of them haven't played a lot on Friday nights, but you got older guys in there. They can handle that middle a little bit better, we feel like, with strength and size and everything. And then a couple sophomores one sophomore that we're going to lean on is Carson Conyers. Carson Conyers played linebacker last year in 9th grade, moved him to defensive line a little bit. He's bulked up. He's about 245 pounds right now. Going to lean on him a lot as a defensive end, So we really like our defensive line rotation right now.
Good depth right there. When you go to the linebacker core, Walter Hicks, man, you talking about a high school football player, and I can't remember anybody as a linebacker that scored more than Walter, whether it's picking up a fumble, intercepting a pass, blocking a kick for a safety down there in the south end zone. I know he's going to be your anchor in the middle this year.
Yeah, Walter will let you know that every time he touches the ball, he scores. He'll let you know that. So, but he's as good as anybody I've coached, Jim, in my 27 years, I don't know that I've had a better one. I've had some as good, but Walter's as good as you're going to get, man, for a high school guy. He's 6-footish, 215 pounds. If he was 6'2", 6'3", every college in the nation would be around, because of size. A lot of guys don't like that 6-foot linebacker, 5'11", 6 foot, whatever he is. But he's a guy that's just a football player. I love that about him. Sure tackler. When he puts his hands on you, you're going down most of the time. That's where he's so good. There's guys that can finish, and there's guys that can't. Walter's one of those guys. He finishes every time. Led our team in tackles the last 2 years as a sophomore and junior. So excited to see what he does his senior year. He's getting a lot of Division II looks right now, and it kind of goes to his size, a little bit of his speed. A lot of people like a little bit faster, but, man, I love him. He's a great football player, and we're excited about what he's going to bring to the table. 2 other seniors that we've got in there, Nick Wright, that played a lot for us last year. He rotated a lot with Jake Herbner, ended up starting toward the end of the year and coming on. Nick's a smaller version, a little bit faster version of Walter. Plays a little bit better in space, runs a little bit better. And then we also have Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson, man, I tell you, he's a high school coach's dream, as far as his work ethic. That dude don't say 2 words. He comes to work every day and just works. And I love that about him. He's put himself into a situation to play as a senior. And, as a sophomore, he knew he was undersized. As a junior, he's still behind some really good linebackers, but he has done nothing but work and get himself in a situation. Jack's only about 5'8", 185 pounds, but he plays hard all the time. We really love that about him. So you're going to see him on the field a lot this year. Probably see those 3 guys starting early in the year, but they're being pushed by some good young guys, man, and that's what we like about it. Weston Monson's a sophomore that had a phenomenal year last year in junior high, and we're playing him at our Sam linebacker. He does a great job in space, and he's length. He's got a little bit heavier. He moves the ball well, has great instincts, so we're excited about that guy. Connor Stevens is kind of an undersized guy. We really like his motor. He's got to learn to play fast all the time. We like him. Bo Sigmund, another junior linebacker that's going to play some minutes behind those guys. Antonio Shelton, another junior that's a guy that's going to get some minutes in there. So we're fairly deep at the linebacker position, like a lot of those guys. Cade Llewellyn, we moved him from safety down to will linebacker. So there's some depth there. You know, they're all challenging for some playing time right now.
And then the challenge of modern-day football is that back end. If you don't get to the quarterback, the guy's got to be able to cover. So talk about the secondary this year.
Well, we've got two safeties back from last year in J. Thomas Pepper, and who's been a 3-year starter for us. Love him, runs to the ball as well as anybody I've ever coached. He's not blessed to be the most athletic guy or anything, but, man, he plays with every ounce of energy he's got every night. You don't ever have to question that. But he's back for his third year playing our spur safety, who's our strong safety basically. And then we have Isaac Hill back, who's shocked everybody, I think, last year. He played free safety last year. We moved him over to what we call our bandit, who's our weak safety. Feel like that's a better fit for him. He's going to be playing where Chris Bernard played last year. Really like him. Very headsy guy. You look at him, you think he can't play football, but he is all over the football all the time, and he will come up and hit you. Had a phenomenal offseason. He got up to where he power cleaned 275. He's only weighing 170 pounds, but runs well, will strike you, has good ball skills, will go get it, So we really like him. And then we moved Cordell Payne from corner to safety. Really like Cordell's ability to kind of be a ball hawk on the back end, over the top of those two safeties. He reads the ball really well, athletic in the middle of the field. So we've moved him there. And the reason we moved him there is because we've got a couple of corners that we feel confident in. If we didn't, we'd leave him there. But we got a Marcus King back for his senior year, undersized. Everybody likes to pick on him, but he's one of the most athletic guys on the field. Runs as well. He's got great ball skills, but he's 5'5", 5'6", And then we've had a move in from North Little Rock, Travion Stewart. And Trey, he's as good a cover guy as we've had at Benton in a while. He's not much bigger than a Marcus, but, man, he gets it. He understands football. He breaks on the ball, got great ball skills, great hips, great feet, things like that. So those two guys have kind of taken the lead on the corner position. And then the other guys at the corner position, we've got Javion Laws. We moved from safety to corner, like him. Tyson Jordan, another guy that we like in that position. And then Roy Adams. You remember Roy from last year? That was a JV guy. So we got 5 corners that we like, things that they're doing, So we got to get them on the field some. And then our other safety that's a rotation guy is Landon Jackson. You remember Landon? And Landon can play all 3 positions at the safety. He's kind of our swing guy to give guys a break. If we have an injury or something, we throw him out there. And we want him to keep coming on and everything, but he understands the different spots. So we've got a little bit of depth there, but we need to develop some more depth at that safety spot. Corner spot, probably as deep as we've been in a while. So really like what we're developing back there.
Awesome. And even if you look at the kicker list on the roster, you got depth there. But Garrett Honeycutt's kind of at the top of that list. And the smartest kid to ever play as a Benton Panther, a perfect ACT score.
That's right. You wouldn't think that about Garrett, and I tell him that all the time. I wouldn't say this, but look at Garrett, you wouldn't think he's 36 ACT guy. And talking to him, he's kind of a goofy kid and everything. We have fun with him, picking on him, but phenomenal. 36 on your ACT. We always used to praise Tanner Holden for 35, but, man, to pick up a perfect score on that's phenomenal. Big leg, man, I love what he does. He puts a lot of balls into the end zone for kickoff. That's a weapon for us, And then he gives us that ability to maybe hit a long field goal and everything. He's worked really a lot, trying to work on accuracy a little bit more. He's been a little consistent with that throughout his career, but he's gotten better. Really like what he's going to bring to the table for us. And if something were to happen to him, we got 3 other guys, we like. We got 2 sophomores that are going to be good. Dawson Daves is a little bit bigger version, got a big leg, good accuracy, things like that. Then you got little Wilbur, little Gabe Wilbur, Luke's little brother. And for a little guy, man, he's got a lot of pop in his leg. He may be our second best kickoff guy. He's putting balls in the end zone very consistently. So we got those 2 sophomores. Then we got junior Gavin Betts, and he's a lefty. He's a little different coming off his foot and everything. But we got 4 that we wouldn't mind trotting out there, and a lot of schools would love to have, So we got some depth there.
It sounds like you're excited between the returning starters and then the depth building in behind them from a very successful now sophomore class. It gets me excited hearing you talk about it.
Well, I get excited talking about it and everything, but it's a project still, Jim. It's still a work in progress, big time with those young guys. But it's exciting as a coach to see those young guys that are getting better and working and everything. And they want to be the guy right now. But we know as coaches, they don't need to be the guy right now. They need to be the guy behind the guys and let them grow and develop for a year and everything. And that's tough sometimes for, somebody like TJ, somebody like Bryson that, they had 1,200 yards, rushing, receiving, stuff like that last year, or a guy that's always started, But it's exciting to see those guys come on and push our older guys, make our older guys better. So excited about the future for us also.
Yeah. So even a change in the coaching staff. Coach Wynn has gone to soccer only and teaching, and so you added a new face to your coaching staff this offseason.
We did. We feel like we hit a home run hiring Ryan Forte. Ryan has been at Catholic the last 4 years coaching receivers and DBs, and we brought him in with Coach Wynn getting out of football. We brought him in to coach our corners. He's done a tremendous job for us. Brought him in the end of May when school was getting out and everything, but he's done a great job building relationships with our guys, and that's a big thing. You know that. If you can build relationships with high school guys, they play harder for you, and Ryan's a relationship guy, and that's why we brought him in. He's a former Nashville Scrapper, played college baseball. He's going to be coaching high school football and baseball for us, So extremely excited to get him on staff. He's been living in Benton, commuting back and forth to Little Rock. We got to meet him 4 years ago when he moved here, had some connections at Catholic and everything, but really excited to have him on our staff this year.
And another change this year from the last 2 years is the conference is back to 8 teams. So you've got the more traditional 3 and 7 schedule, some new faces in non-conference, and then Jonesboro back in the conference this year.
Right, excited to go back to that model. Like to have those 3 non-conference games instead of Bryant and then get into the meet, your conference. That's tough right there. But we'll play Bryant this year, and then we'll have a week off, and then we'll host North Little Rock. And then we'll go to Harding Academy at Searcy and play at Harding University. I think that's a really tough non-conference schedule. North Little Rock, people talk about them being down and everything, but they're still going to have really good athletes that's going to challenge us. We like that, being a 7A school, good numbers, things like that. And then picked up Harding Academy, who is, I don't know how many state championships they've won over the last years, but they've been moved from 3A to 4A now to 5A because they've won so much, and they've got a really strong nucleus coming back. So that'll be a team that'll push us, throwing the football around. They're going to be really talented. So really like our non-conference schedule. Then we get into the 6A East. We open up here with Jonesboro. They've been in the 7A the last couple of years, and they're dropping down. So they're going to be ready for 6A. They're going to be excited to come back down to 6A, much like Catholic was a couple of years ago. They're going to feel like they can win more, So we'll have them right out of the chute, playing them in the conference play. And then we go to Sylvan Hills. Then back to Sheridan, okay. Then I think we have El Dorado at home. Then we've got, Catholic, got to go back to War Memorial. And then we host West Memphis, and then we finish up at Marion in Week 10, which we hope is the conference championship game. I think Marion's one of the teams to beat in the conference, and I feel like we are. So hopefully we're playing for a conference championship in Week 10 at Marion,
So Salt Bowl at War Memorial, Catholic at War Memorial. Yeah. We got that date in December circled to go there 30 times this year.
It's on the schedule, Jim. It's on the schedule. I've told everybody not to make plans that weekend, and it's a Saturday. I think it's the noon game that day, and but we hope that's where we're at. We felt like we had a team the last 2 years that had a chance to get there, and we feel like that same thing. We just got to learn to finish in the semifinals, or in the playoffs. Period. We just kicked our toe the last 2 years in the semis against 2 really good teams. Greenwood was really good 2 years ago, and then Little Rock Christian this past year. So we got to find a way to finish there and get there.
Yeah, 2 one-score losses in back-to-back years, and games decided in the last 2 minutes. So 2 wonderful games to watch, just painful the outcome. So all in all, from PDFL up through, you're the shepherd of this football program, and I got to believe you're pretty happy with where things sit right now going into 2024.
Yeah, most definitely. Even you mentioned PDFL. We've got a phenomenal 4th, 5th, and 6th grade program that coaches. We have coaching staff meetings with them that they have to come in, a little clinic, and they're running our stuff at 4th grade. That's phenomenal. Go to watch one of their practices and you hear them talking in our language. And they kick off. They have our big jamboree. We're hosting part of the jamboree here on August the 24th. So come out and support those guys. You know, our 7th grade program, the last couple of years, we've been running about 90 kids. Right now, we got no more numbers in the 8th and 9th grade program than we've ever had. I think we're up around that 160 mark, something like that. I think we got 80-something 8th graders and 70-something 9th graders. So that's more kids than we've ever had in the program. And it's exciting coming off those teams being successful also. So, you know, a lot of wins in Benton Panther football the last couple of years. Hopefully we can continue that trend, and that's a game plan every year for us.
Yeah. And practicing 1 week beyond Thanksgiving this year. So, Coach, thanks for the season preview. That was awesome, and we are so excited to bring you Benton Panther football in 2024, courtesy of M&M Productions all season long. The Panthers will have a benefit scrimmage on Friday, August 23 at Little Rock Christian, maybe a little payback. There you go. That'll kick off at 7 o'clock, and then the season begins in earnest on Friday, August 30 at 7:30 p.m. at the Salt Bowl inside War Memorial Stadium as the Panthers and Hornets will do battle. That broadcast will be audio only during the game, but as soon as the game finishes, the video will be joined to it, and you'll have that to be able to watch. Then we will be with you live for the rest of the season every Friday night to bring you Benton Fighting Panther football. For Coach Brad Harris, for our producer Matt Johnson, I'm Jim Gardner. Can't wait to bring you an exciting Benton Panther football season this year.